Krista here, and I'm trying to figure this camera out how to get it straight. Okay, today I'm going to do Understanding Denial Part 15. Today we're going to work on integrating the logical parts of ourselves and personality, including the false and past belief systems we have created, and combine them with inner intuition or inner intuitive sense to form more of a balancing act to reach our happiest, most fulfilling roles and higher self potentials. This I am excited about because I also am including universal laws in my practice. It will be fun. When these two parts of ourselves can combine, it does make life much easier and can even take on a magical dreamlike quality as it quadrates in small miracles into everyday living. In this, a person can contain a better sense of contentment, purpose, yet also adventure and excitement in and throughout their lives that just come naturally on a daily basis. As we put these two together, they become one, like the yin and yang, to create a balance. When this happens, the personality allows and even encourages the inner self to express itself. The inner self has great potential at birth. When we are finally able to fulfill the needs of the inner self, it leads to more genuine, true happiness and fulfillment of needs, which we're always searching for our entire lifetimes. What therefore needs to be worked on are the false beliefs we have been taught in our lives and that conflict with the inner self. We cannot change the inner self, but we can change the personalities, belief systems that keep us from being in touch with our inner self and also our own innate intuitive abilities and gut hunches, because of the defense mechanisms from the outer layers of the ego or personality. It is called the false ego because of false belief systems created. Now what we have left to do is understand and recognize and heal the different layers and past traumas that we have been left with. The ego personality likes to keep its illusions or faulty beliefs alive and is afraid to change. The ego does not want to die. It holds on, sometimes for dear life, in fear. It can throw up, It can throw up a great defense in order to protect itself because this has been there to protect us from things that have harmed us in the past. Depending on how dysfunctionally abusive or neglectful, even emotionally, your past was, the more the ego protects itself and puts up shields. Sometimes the past abuse was so bad, we have even created states of things like PTSD or complex PTSD, in which we have learned to stay in more constant reactive states of fight or flight or freeze in order to protect us from hurting ourselves and from others hurting us. When that happens, a person is left with not knowing how to shut that state off, even in more appropriate times, in more inappropriate times, which can ruin things like careers, friendships, and relationships with the closest people we love, often sabotaging ourselves and things in the process. There are many ways a person can practice at decreasing and healing from past traumas and overlapping symptoms of fight or flight, such as meditation, deep breathing, and practicing states of mindfulness we will get into later. But first we must understand how the mind works. The worse the false belief-structured ego is, it keeps us in more harmful states, like not being able to sustain moral reasoning and blaming others for the way we are, usually without being aware of it, dragging others down to our level so we can feel better and using power struggles to win. But we need to focus on ourselves for further healing and continue taking small steps, even if they seem insurmountable. Also, instead of blaming ourselves, we also might have to take inventory of the people around us who might be destructive as well. Take a moment to ask yourself, may others be hurting you or more around you, or do they make you feel good about yourself? Or do they make you feel even worse about yourself? Creating better people around us that influence us in our lives can help tremendously with further growth and even understanding ourselves, for further being able to trust and accept oneself, and can be detrimental in this stage as well. In other videos, I will be sharing and discussing about protagonistic types that could be further hurting you into more addictive and painful states of being. But getting back to what is important you at this stage, let's think to what we really need and what we really don't need. Let's stop and love ourselves. Give yourself a hug. You need it. It is paramount you give yourself the attention that you deserve. Don't expect another person to know what you need as much as you do. Ask yourself, do you really need certain things to be happy? Do you really need to have all those outer things to really make you happy? Like maybe the 100th pairs of shoes. As you pay attention to this, you'll see that it never really sustains that true happiness you so deserve. You might keep quite busy trying to ascertain all those things, but it just puts avoidance on getting to know the real you and what's really important. Yourself. I want you to love yourself today. Not by giving yourself more of this or that, but instead maybe spending some time with just yourself and doing some inner reflective work. Instead of looking for that outer source of pleasure or fun or power, let's stop rationalizing this behavior. If we can start breaking through that denial that it's going to take outer things to fulfill us, can we begin to understand that this is not going to fix us? But by beginning to let it go, we begin to attract real ways of healing and superior true award centers waking up within ourselves and around us. So, again, have a blessed day. Maybe take a walk in the woods today and reflect on what is really important to you. And don't forget, love. Have a nice life.